We're gonna be recording this meeting so that we can display it on our website later and send it out to anybody who wasn't able to join. My name is Jesse Demumbrian Chapman. I am the Executive Director and Riverkeeper with Coosa River Basin Initiative. And we work with other members of the Georgia Water Coalition to help pull together this report and identify the awardees every year. I appreciate you all joining us this morning for the release of the Georgia Water Coalition's 2020 Clean 13 report. In just a bit, I am going to kick it over to the author of the report, Joe Cook, and his colleague, Rena Peck, the Executive Director of Georgia River Network, who are going to talk us through all of the awardees. A number of which are, I'm seeing, were able to join us this morning. So once we go through kind of a top level overview of the full report, we'll have an opportunity to ask questions of the different awardees and learn more about why they're being honored by the Georgia Water Coalition this year. In order to keep background noise down, I have everyone muted for the duration of this call until the end when we have Q&A. And if you are calling in on the phone and need to unmute yourself during that time, you will just need to dial *6. For everyone else using the app or on your computer, you can just click the microphone and unmute yourself once we get to that portion. The full report is up and available on the Georgia Water Coalition's website, and that's gawater.org/clean-13. And shortly, the slide deck that we'll be using this morning will also be located on that site. And you'll be able to review those afterwards if there's something that you wanted to go back and see. I recommend at the bottom of each one of the slides that go over the information of the different honorees, there are contact information. So if you are not able to connect with one of the awardees during this session, please feel free to reach out to those individuals offline after this meeting is over. Like I said, all of that contact information will be on each slide, and that slide will be on the slide deck will be on the Georgia Water Coalition website. So I am going to share my screen here and give it over to Joe Cook and Rena Peck.
Thanks, Jesse. It's exciting to be here today to announce the Water Coalition's Clean 13 honorees for this year. And this year in particular, it's so good to have some good news to share. So we're going to share some good news with you here over the next few minutes. We'll be alternating between Rena and myself, so y'all won't have to hear one of us drone on for too long. So the Georgia Water Coalition is a consortium of more than 260 conservation and environmental organizations, hunting and fishing groups, businesses, and faith-based organizations that have been working to protect Georgia's water since 2002. The individuals, businesses, local governments, and nonprofit organizations recognized in this report were selected through a process in which the coalition's member groups submitted nominations. We took all those nominations, and there were quite a few, and the nominations were reviewed by a small committee who whittled down our list to our Clean 13 that we're going to be recognizing today. So we're releasing the report to celebrate clean water heroes from around the state. The report highlights the extraordinary efforts of these Clean 13 honorees, and their efforts have led to cleaner water and stronger communities all across Georgia. So we're going to start with Chattahoochee Riverlands Project. The Chattahoochee Riverlands Project aims to make the Chattahoochee more accessible to communities across Metro Atlanta. The proposed 120-mile multimodal trail running from Beaufort Dam in Gwinnett County to Chattahoochee Bend State Park in Coweta County, along with multiple new boat launches and connecting trails, aims to bring citizens to the region's, quote, waterfront and enlist a new generation of river stewards. The interesting thing about it is this endeavor really has been made possible by the revival of the Chattahoochee River downstream from Metro Atlanta, as the Metro Atlanta region has begun addressing longstanding sewage infrastructure problems. Now the river downstream from Atlanta has become a destination, and the Riverlands project aims to make the river the metro region's defining public space, with both a paved recreational trail for walkers, runners, and bikers, but also a water trail for canoeists, kayakers, anglers, and others. The first sections of this endeavor should be under construction within the year, as Cobb County pursues a new trail and boat launch between Mableton Parkway and Veterans Memorial Highway. Now on to our next honoree. This one is also in the Atlanta area, and it is Emory University in Dekalb County. In 2015, the university opened its Water Hub, a first of its kind facility in the US, a sewage treatment facility and water recycling facility. The sewage plant looks like a large greenhouse amidst the tree-lined campus, and it is odor-free. It processes some 400,000 gallons of sewage daily and returns that treated wastewater to the campus, where it is used to flush toilets in some of the residence halls, and is used to heat and cool campus buildings through the school's steam and chiller plants. The Water Hub now supplies 40% of the campus's water needs and reduces water withdrawal demand on the Chattahoochee River by up to 146 million gallons annually. The plant also relieves pressure on the DeKalb County sewage system and helps reduce the risk of sewage overflows from the system into urban creeks. Others are now copying the innovative system. Duke University recently announced plans to build its own water hub. Next up is the Fall Line Alliance for Clean Environment. When it comes to fighting pollution, there are not too many complete victories, but in this year's report, we get to celebrate one such victory. That victory was led by a group of mostly volunteer citizen activists centered in Sandersville that fought for more than a decade to prevent a coal-fired power plant from being built in their community. The plant would have threatened the Okefenokee, or excuse me, the Okie, there's too many O's in this state. The plant would have threatened the Oconee and the Ogeechee rivers, as well as groundwater that serves as the area's primary water supply. The Fall Line Alliance for Clean Environment worked to educate their neighbors about the risks posed by the plan, often at the risk of being ostracized within the close-knit small-town community. Earlier this year, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division refused to renew permits for the floundering proposal, and Plant Washington is now dead. At the time of its demise, it was the last coal-fired power plant still being considered in the US. And since 2010, 170 proposed coal-fired power plants have been canceled across the country. So from Sandersville, we're going to stay rural, and Rena Peck is going to take over to tell us about our next honorees. Rena, take it away.
Thanks, Joe. Hey, y'all. Georgia farmers are our next awardee. A strange thing happened during this year's Georgia General Assembly session. A group of vocal farmers from Sumter and Lee counties who lean decidedly to the right when it comes to politics joined forces with the Georgia Senate's all-urban Democratic caucus to help defeat a bill that would have invited industrial-scale agriculture waste disposal facilities to rural Georgia. This bipartisan coalition is even more surprising, given that this House Bill 545, deceptively titled Right to Farm Bill, was backed by the state's most influential farm lobbyists. These Sumter and Lee County farmers came to the Capitol, wrote letters to the editors of local papers, and took to social media, contacting other farmers as well. Before long, a group of agriculture producers and rural landowners from across our state joined in the fight, helping seal the defeat of this bad bill. The Right to Farm bill was revealed for what it was, the Right to Harm bill. Congratulations to these Georgia farmers. Next up is Senator Freddie Powell Sims, assisting her Southwest Georgia constituents in this fight against House Bill 545 was Senator Freddie Powell Sims of Dawson. Senator Sims is unique among Senate Democrats in that while she represents the city of Albany, her district spans across 11 mostly rural counties. Hailing from farm communities, she traditionally backs bills put forth by the agriculture lobby, but a thorough read of House Bill 545 and many calls from her farmer constituents convinced her that House Bill 545 would benefit only industrial scale agriculture operations and hurt rural communities. She took a strong stand against the bill and convinced all of her Democratic colleagues in the Senate to oppose the bill. With several key Republican senators already opposed, the bill's fate was sealed in the Senate. Thank you, Senator. Next up is Golden Triangle Resource Conservation and Development Council. Since we're in the Lady Senator's district, we'll stay there to recognize our next honoree, the Golden Triangle Resource Conservation and Development Council. This nonprofit organization works on multiple fronts to protect streams and rivers of Southwest Georgia, as well as the Floridan aquifer that underlines the area. The council educates local road maintenance crews on best management practices for reducing erosion from the region's many dirt roads. It educates school children on the importance of the region's water resources, works with local farmers to improve efficiency of irrigation systems, and recently began producing a series of videos to raise awareness of the Flint River and promote tourism within the Flint River corridor. While benefiting its neighbors in the Southwest Georgia, the council's work also helps imperiled aquatic species in the region's rivers and streams. Congratulations. I'll now turn it back over to you, Joe, to tell us about our next three honorees.
Thanks, Rena. We've told you about the work of a Democratic senator, but we couldn't let Senator William Ligon, a Republican from White Oak, leave the Senate without first recognizing him for his commitment to protecting Georgia's coast and its coastal rivers. Across a decade in the Senate, Senator Ligon has protected the Georgia coast on many beachheads. He introduced legislation and secured funding to restore a portion of the Satilla River's estuary by closing a man-made canal known as Noyes Cut. Work on this restoration project should begin soon. During this year's legislative session, he introduced and secured passage of Senate Bill 123, a measure which closes a loophole in Georgia's solid waste laws that encouraged out-of-state producers of coal ash to dump their toxic waste in Georgia landfills. He's also fought to protect Jekyll Island, advocated to prevent oil and gas exploration off the Georgia coast, and supported the development of the Coastal Georgia Greenway, a recreational path stretching from St. Mary's to Savannah. We will miss his leadership in the Senate and wish him well in his retirement. Next up, we'll stay close to Senator Ligon's old workplace at the state capitol, where on nearby Hill Street, Live Thrive Atlanta operates its Center for Hard to Recycle Materials, known as CHARM. Since 2015, CHARM has helped divert more than 50 million pounds of hazardous chemicals and other waste from landfills by recycling or repurposing this hard to recycle material. Of course, CHARM takes the common recyclables like steel, aluminum, and plastic, but it also takes in a lot of other stuff. For instance, at CHARM, styrofoam finds new life as home insulation. Electronics are broken down and mined for reusable material. Paint is used for community graffiti cleanups, and tires get turned into asphalt that fills potholes around the city. The facility estimates that it has saved the city of Atlanta $1.3 million in landfill tipping fees, while supporting Georgia's $2.5 billion recycling industry. Next up, we head way down south to Ware, Charlton, and Clinch counties, where we find the Okefenokee Swamp Park. Since 1946, this private nonprofit park near Waycross has introduced millions of people to the Okefenokee Swamp, one of Georgia's 7 natural wonders. It provides daily boat tours and wildlife education programs while supporting research on the swamp's large population of American alligators. And recently, it has begun teaming up with other swamp attractions to develop a comprehensive marketing campaign to bring more people to the swamp and educate them about the importance of the swamp and the wonders that are held in the 700 square miles of primeval wildlands there in Southeast Georgia. The effort couldn't be more timely as the swamp is now threatened by outside forces and needs all the swamp advocates it can get. I'll now turn it back over to Rena for our final 4 honorees.
Thanks, Joe. Back up near Atlanta, we've got Parsley's Catering in Marietta. Parsley's Catering is helping set the standard for sustainability in Metro Atlanta's food service industry. The family-owned catering business has been implementing sustainability practices since the early 2000s and is now one of only a handful of Metro Atlanta caterers or restaurants that is 2-star certified by the Green Restaurant Association. The caterer employs compostable or biodegradable plates and utensils, sources its vegetables, meats, and cheeses from local organic farms, and has transformed its event venue located near the base of Kennesaw Mountain into a model of sustainability. There, it has implemented a composting program and is converted to all green cleaning supplies. Meanwhile, a solar array system at the venue provides power for the facility, offsetting the equivalent of 23,000 pounds of greenhouse gases since its installation. On the water piece, the water-saving plumbing fixtures, including waterless urinals, have helped realize an annual water savings of more than 200,000 gallons a year. Next up is South Wings. Above all this action on the ground is Asheville-based South Wings, a nonprofit organization that provides free flights to Georgia environmental organizations to protect our land, water, and air across the state. In the last 15 years, South Wings volunteer pilots who pay for their own gas, who volunteer their time and their expertise and their planes, have provided 179 flights across Georgia. In 2019 alone, South Wings pilots conducted 29 flights in Georgia, logging 87 hours of flight time. These flights are used to document pollution problems like the oil spill resulting from the Golden Ray cargo ship capsize in St. Simon's Sound, as well as I got to take some legislators and media up over the Okefenokee to check out the threat of the mining operation there. But equally important, they provide opportunities for advocates like the groups in Georgia Water Coalition and our members to go up in the sky, take decision makers on flights to get a landscape scale protection on policy decisions. As South Wings Associate Executive Director Meredith Dowling said, the ability to have conversations as we are looking at the issue from a landscape scale, that's the magic of flying, and it's true. You can't see how vulnerable that we are and our landscapes are until you get above it. Congratulations, South Wings. Next up is YKK AP. You probably know YKK is the largest zipper maker in the world, but here in Georgia, another branch of the corporation, YKK AP, makes aluminum windows, doors, and architectural facades in its Dublin facility. And it makes these products with an eye on sustainability. Its wastewater treatment system removes most pollutants to the levels 80 to 90% below regulatory requirements. And many byproducts removed are recycled or repurposed. Workers there recycle 100% of the aluminum waste on site, and they have reduced the amount of waste they send to the landfill by 40%. Since 2003, they've recycled 300 tons of waste paper. Now YKK's company-wide 2050 environmental vision focused on climate change, water efficiency, waste reduction, and protection of natural resources, has these engineers at their Dublin manufacturing plant seeking more innovative ways to produce their product using less water, less energy, and producing less waste. Congratulations, YKK. Last but not least is Yonah Mountain Vineyards. In North Georgia, who got to do that site visit is what I want to know. In North Georgia, winemakers at the Yonah Mountain Vineyards have become sommeliers of solar. Last year, the White County Winery installed the 360-panel solar array next to their vineyards beneath Yonah Mountain. And now, while the sun ripens their grapes, it also produces much of the power that they need. The installation is expected to recoup its initial $238,000 investment in just 8 years. Yonah Mountain Vineyards is also home to the largest Tesla destination electric car charging station in North Georgia, offering 14 stations for its guests, including some that are fed by the solar array. Meanwhile, the vineyards have also employed energy efficient lighting and a bottle recycling program. And the business supports a bee farm on site in partnership with the Georgia Beekeepers Association. Solar investments like those at Yonah Mountain Vineyards have helped bring Georgia as a number 9 ranking among our 50 states when it comes to solar power installed. That completes our Clean 13. We now turn it back over to Jesse, who will moderate our question and answer session. Congratulations to all of you, and we look forward to hearing to the folks who are able to be on this call.
Thank you, Rena. Yes, I want to again congratulate all of the honorees in the report this year. This is, as Joe mentioned at the beginning, it is always really a thrill to go through the applications that are submitted for our Clean 13 report. It's no doubt this has been an incredibly challenging year, and it is such a great honor and an opportunity to read some good news stories, and what a great opportunity for us to share it with you all today. So if you have questions, we'll go about this way. You can unmute yourself. Please state your name and your media outlet and who you would like to address your question to. We have, again, many of our honorees on the call today. But like I mentioned earlier, if someone is not on the call that you would like to follow up with, their contact information is in this slide deck that will be on georgiawater.org, the Georgia Water Coalition's website. So if you will unmute yourself, if you have a question, we can get going. And again, if you are calling in from a phone, in order to unmute yourself, you will just press *6.
Jesse, it may be that, I don't know if anybody has tried to unmute themselves, but it may be that we might be having trouble, people might be having trouble unmuting. Although I was able to unmute.
I'll go. David Pendered, Supporter Report. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey. I'd love to back out for just a quick second and look at the idea if someone could address the wonderful bookend we've got here with the Clean 13 and the Dirty Dozen, with the idea of recognizing both the polluters and those who are working to improve the water quality in the state. If you could talk about the reason behind the 2 awards.
I can speak to that briefly. I know, Joe, you can respond as well. I think the Dirty Dozen report came quite naturally to us, and was obviously a tool that the Georgia Water Coalition used for a number of years to identify problematic areas, especially focused on like structural dilemmas, bureaucratic dilemmas, legislative failures, kind of big picture problems that were hurting our waterways. And I think Joe was the one who came up with the idea. Eventually, we wanted to start recognizing the folks that were doing the good work. And I think that that's not always something as advocates that comes quite so clearly, quite so readily to the mind. We're often doing a lot of work, a lot of reactionary work to things that are concerning. And it was a good opportunity to start proactively promoting the people who are doing work that we would love to see copied elsewhere across the state. Joe, you want to say anything else?
Yeah, David, I'll just add that we always have more nominations for the Clean 13 than we do have for the Dirty Dozen, which indicates that there are a lot more really good things happening out there than bad things. So that's the good news. And I guess the other thing I would say is that the Clean 13 is my words are failing me. But the primary thing that I would say is that there's a lot more good news out there than there is bad news. And the reason for coming up with the Clean 13 was to highlight that good news. That was the main purpose behind it. Oh, and also, I think there will come a time in the very near future that some of those perhaps that were on past Dirty Dozens, you will see on future Clean 13s. That's really the goal, is to move people or move entities that have been called out for past problems, to move those entities over to the Clean 13 report. And I think we'll probably see that over the next few years as we continue to publish these reports.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions? I don't want to keep you all hanging on here too long. Like I mentioned before, all of the contact information for these awardees will be listed on the slide deck on the Georgia Water Coalition website, gawater.org. Does anybody have any other questions before we wrap this up? All right, hearing none, I just want to say that I appreciate all of y'all attending this press conference today. And one more congratulations to all of our awardees.
I have a question in a related area.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Flying around the South Wings, I see some of the coal ash dump sites, which is really a terrible eyesore as well as a pollution event. And I have a related question, but everybody has to fasten your seatbelts because I'm going to use the dreaded N-word, nuclear. We have 50 years experience building small, safe nuclear power plants. Every submarine has one, and every large Navy ship has two or more. Is there any movement, political or industrial, whatever, to develop a series of small nuclear power plants that could be spread around and really eliminate any type of carbon as a power source? It seemed to me that we could go from Sputnik to landing on the moon in 10 years, we could certainly develop a series of very small, safe nuclear power plants to reduce all combustion of gas, oil, coal, etc. It's a long-term question. I know it's not exactly related to what we're doing here in Georgia, but it's something to think about, perhaps.
Larry, thanks for that question. I think that we're probably not prepared to address that issue in the context of this Zoom conference. The Southern Alliance for Clean Energy spends a lot of effort on that, and I would encourage you to check out the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. They are one of our Georgia Water Coalition members, and I know they would have some things to say about some nuclear. That would be my recommendation, would be to check with the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy and talk to them about that.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone one last time for joining us this morning. We will put this recording up on the Georgia Water Coalition website shortly, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.